Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 17 of What If Naruto Had the Ultimate Nature Bloodline. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was put through hell and adopted by the Raikage over an Anime King to and enjoy that guys. And he also posts a brand new episode of What If Naruto was a hope of the Uchiha clan, so go ahead and enjoy that as well. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping and support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, the moment Naruto entered the Senju residence, he was wrapped up by chains by a very pissed off Kushina. As he didn't show up, and she was very angry at that. He calmly let her release him as he spoke to her. Despite his words, he was so calm. It put her on edge. He then told her why him and Sesame were no longer friends. As something happened between them, where she confessed her feelings to him, that she liked him for a long time. But he did something that, well, hurt her badly. And that's how the reputation came on his name, which Anko was talking about in the bar. As Kushner was confused at first until he explained that he didn't want to hurt her. He couldn't feel anything, but he knew what he was doing was wrong. He was going off the senses, not the emotions, because he couldn't feel literally nothing for anyone. As Kushner realized the reason why he didn't come to visit her, as he told her to look on her face every time, she thought that he was getting better, but things were just getting worse. As she cried, as she didn't know that it was that hard on him, she thought that he was just being a little bastard, but now, she felt grief and literal pain knowing that he was suffering that much, as she saw the anguish. Yet, he couldn't cry. He couldn't express his emotion, and it was making him angry. But at the same time, he couldn't feel anger. So what was there for him to feel? It was strange. He wanted Orochimaru and those who took his sister away from him to die. But the anger was gone. The hatred for them was gone because he couldn't feel literally nothing. An envoy came to call him, as he told her that he would speak later as he made his way off. Minato had got the information from Jiraiya about Orochimaru moving, and he sent Menma and Naruto to deal with it. Despite Orochimaru being a Sannin, Minato was not afraid of sending these two on this mission because he had faith and confidence in their skills as they made their way. After that, time passed, as Sesame was rather pissed off at Damien, as he wanted to know why her and Naruto weren't friends anymore. As she told him that she would not answer that question, she made her way off to her favorite tea spot, where she saw Kushina, as this wasn't a normal occurrence. As Kushina told her that she had to talk to her, she knew what Naruto did. Sesame was still pissed off. The day after she confessed to him, he went around those ladies, and he got a reputation in his head. But Kushina told her there was something she had to know. The reason why he was acting this way. As Sesame followed Kushina, as they went somewhere to talk privately. Meanwhile, Karen was used as a bait. Well, she was the one to find the enemies, and gave the signal if it was someone worth Orochimaru's trouble, he would show himself. As Minato was always sending his boys, knowing that they were best suitable to handle many of the difficult jobs. And this time, things were really delightful because Menma and both Naruto were there. Orochimaru showed himself, followed by Goren, and a large amount of Orochimaru's soldiers. The battle didn't last for so long, as Orochimaru was completely underestimating Naruto's skills. When Naruto activated Swift Release, pushed his body to the limit, he cut down the enemies within minutes, despite their numbers. Goren thought her crystal armor could protect her from Menma, but his strength was unrivaled, as he broke through it and damaged her badly. But he took her as hostage, knowing that she might have valuable intel. Kabuto was able to flee back, but he had to face off against the summons of Naruto and Menma. while a clone went on and captured Karen, who tried to flee the scene. Orochimaru was then assaulted by the two boys, forced him to enter his snake form. Because he shed his skin too much time, his body resorted to what he truly was, what he turned himself into. He snarled he was a great Orochimaru and he would not let these other boys put him down. He was a son and they were just kids. He was about to tear them apart. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. We begin this new episode at Konoha as Sesame was shocked. She was surprised. Kushina had told her. Kushina had enough faith in the girl for her to keep this to herself and not tell anyone else. Because Kushina couldn't allow to see this happen. She knew that Naruto was trying his best to not hurt them despite unable to feel anything, but Sesame needed to know. Because Sesame was making a big mistake. Everyone could see. Everyone that knew the girl knew that she did not like Damon one bit. She was doing this for the betterment of her clan and accepting her role. But something like that would never last. If she just focused on her clan and didn't care about her personal feelings, it will just make her come to resent Damon even more. It's not like Kushina cared that much for that boy, because he always tried to one-up her son in ways, which he could not. And he always tried to pick a fight with their son. Well, recently, he had kept his mouth shut. But Kushina feel like it was her duty to tell Sesame what was going on. She knew that Naruto was just trying his best not to hurt her. But she needed to know. She needed to know what was going on before she make any decision. And so she told her. Sesame was leaving the Senju compound, as her mind was filled, thinking a lot of things over, as she didn't know what to say. This was a shock to her. She never knew any of this, so she was just surprised. She knew that something was different about him, that he was always acting different ever since Mito's death, but she thought that it was just the whole situation that shocked him to change his ways. But everything became clear now. That look on his face, the emptiness, and the forced smile. She always wondered why he tried to force his smiles and know they make sense. He forgot how to smile. She came to a stop when she saw little Katsumi was dropped off in front of the front gate by a woman and her small child who waved towards Katsumi as she went to play with her friends, and now she was being returned. As Katsumi strolled in, her eyes landed on Sesame. Katsumi wasn't her biggest fan right now, ever since, well, she and Naruto stopped being friends. "Hey Katsumi," said Sesame. As Katsumi paused and looked her over, "Are you and big brother Naruto friend again?" asked Katsumi. Sesame sighed. "I'm afraid not yet." "Then don't talk to me." As Katsumi seemed to walk past her. As Sesame could not blame the girl. She was an idol of Naruto. She saw him as someone that could do no wrong. In no way possible, she saw him as some kind of deity and praised him as he walked. She loved her big brother more than anyone else, and Sesame noticed that. So if you wronged her big brother, then she was not your friend. But Sesame had a lot to think over, and for one thing, she'd need to find Naruto. He was currently out on a mission. She needed to speak to him when he returned, but her thoughts were conflicted. A distance away, as Damon stood there. He was surprised when he saw that red-haired woman walk inside the Uchiha compound. He didn't like it one bit, because she was the mother of that guy that he hated so much. His hate for Naruto has grown over the past couple of years. It had turned into full-on hatred and rage every time he saw him. At first it was just one-upping him, but when he finally got Sesame to agree to marry him, he felt like he was king of the world, like he had everything that he ever wanted. But this damn bastard threatened his relationship with her, and Damon couldn't stand for that. It pissed him off to no end, as he clenched his fist tightly, as he now saw her leaving the Senju compound. As he wondered what the hell was going on, what did that red-haired woman say to her? He saw that she was in deep thought, as he growled. Meanwhile, hundreds of snakes, they seemed like they had no end. As Naruto stood in the depths of the crowded valley, snakes were spreading far and wide, small, white snakes as they opened their mouth. Hundreds, probably thousands of blades, shurikens, kunais ejected from their throats. It was like a hailstorm, something powerful enough to wipe out the entire platoon. As Naruto looked up to the sky and saw them coming, he flashed through a single hand sign before he pulled a kunai and threw it. right under the valley of weapons that were coming towards them. As his right hand was busy going through hand sign as well, while his left hand raised to the sky. Storm release. Lightning rod, he said. The heavens crackle as electricity rained down from the heavens and strike right into the center where Naruto Kunai landed. In doing so, it hit all of the weapons as weapons were sent sailing. As Naruto had touched on, a massive stone wall erupted over him, literally curving over his body, protecting from all the weapons. Mainman was nowhere to be seen, as Orochimaru snarled as several of his snakes got pieced and torn apart. Many of them were ripped into the wall, torn through the ground, as he scoffed, literal venom dripping from his mouth. As Naruto dropped the earth wall, the moment he did, Orochimaru pounced, as Naruto shot right up in the air. Orochimaru looked up, his snakes hissing at Naruto as Naruto raised his blades to the heavens. Storm release, he said. Hurricane cutter, as the wind and the electricity picked up around his blade like a literal storm. As he brought it down with a final swing, Orochimaru snarled as it severed his body to half, tearing him apart. The ground underneath him was obliterated as he was split straight in the middle. As Naruto landed on his feet in the depths of Orochimaru's snake guts. Suddenly, Naruto dropped to one knee as Orochimaru chuckled darkly. What is this? Said Naruto. It seems like your body is stronger than most. Usually, you're supposed to be affected instantly. But I guess you're just that special. Those eyes of yours always give you a better boost in most things. Isn't that right, Naruto-kun? Said Orochimaru, as he got back up in his snake form. As Naruto saw the red smoke seeping from his blood. Now do you see, boy? As much as you fight, as much as you thought that you'd win, you don't stand a chance in hell, Orochimaru said. I am Orochimaru, the snake Sanin, and I will not fall to the likes of you. Now, prepare yourself, because those eyes of yours will be mine. As Orochimaru shot forward, his mouth wide open to swallow Naruto. Ice release, Naruto muttered under his breath. Twisting spear, as Naruto's hand became encased in ice as he shoved it right into Orochimaru's throat, bursting to the back of him. Orochimaru was stunned, his mouth gaping open. Ow, he said in pain. As Orochimaru then noticed Naruto's pores, his entire body was releasing a thick mist. I have tampered with my boil release for a long time now, and I am able to counter certain things that try to enter through my pores. I realize what you're doing, said Naruto. That smoke of yours, it entered through a person's pores and paralyzed them. But as you can see, my mist is counteracting that effect on me. Is it done? Said Naruto. Yeah. As Orochimaru snarled, he almost forgot about the other one. As Menma burst from underneath the ground, Orochimaru saw that he was surrounded by 4 wooden pillars. As Naruto then flashed away, Orochimaru's eyes widened when he saw a log, and that log was glowing. Naruto explosion release. As the thing exploded, the moment it did, all of those 4 wooden pillars started to glow. Ninja art. Encrusted seal, said Menma as he slammed his hand down. A thin thread of chakra connected all the 4 pillars. As they rose up into a massive dome, trapping Orochimaru inside, he smashed against the dome, but he could not break it. Not even you can break that, said Menma. I made sure to make it strong enough to contain a Kage level shinobi. So that is what you were doing this entire time, Orochimaru said. Did you really think that you would win, said Naruto. As Orochimaru looked towards him with a snarl. You really overestimate yourself. Bring in what few ninjas you have, thinking that they would be enough. But it wasn't enough, said Naruto. Meanwhile, over to the side, Kabuto snarled. He was able to switch himself with a well-prepared substitution that replicated him, that even had blood inside of it, and made the monkeys and the tigers rip it apart. While he fled the scene, he was sure by now they knew that it wasn't him, and they would probably track his scent, but there was nothing that he could do to help his lord. As he watched keenly, looking for any opening, but the both of their guards were raised. His lord was trapped away, unable to escape. He looked over to the side as he saw Gorin unconscious, the clone of Menma, and another clone coming from the bushes, with Tarin over his shoulder. As Kabuto cursed at that, He couldn't help his master. He heard a roar as he leaped away. They were coming after him. He failed, but he will get revenge. For his master, Lord Orochimaru, he would not stop until he put down Menma and Naruto. And with that he ran, knowing that in this condition he couldn't hope to best any of them. They were just too strong. They underestimated them, and now his master was paying the price. Meanwhile, Orochimaru screamed. He screamed out to the heavens as thousands of chakra threads impale all of his snake. The cube that he was trapped inside of let no air inside. So the blood didn't evaporate and create that mist of his as Orochimaru was slowly suffocating. He couldn't believe this. He couldn't believe that this would be his end after everything he has been through. To gain immortality, here he was trapped, not even one of his snakes outside. He cursed as he twisted around, but more of his snakes got impaled until two giant wooden spikes tore through the side of his head, keeping it in one place. Yet he still didn't die. He's one stubborn bastard, isn't he? Said Naruto. The mouth of the snake form opened up as the both of them watched as Orochimaru slithered out of it, unclothed, as he was nothing but a writhing mess on the ground. The head of the snake form shriveled up before just wither away into dust. As Orochimaru lay there on the ground, he raised his hand as he punched the barrier over and over, but yet he was unable to escape, unable to do anything. As Naruto and Menma both walked over, as Naruto stooped down, as Orochimaru looked up into those eyes that he craved for, those eyes that he wanted, but now they were so far out of his reach. As his hand collapsed beside the barrier, "Do it," said Naruto, as Menma activated his heal once again. This time, wooden spikes emerged from all corners out of the wooden plank and stabbed through Orochimaru repeatedly as they yanked him to the center. "Release it," said Naruto. And that is what Menma did. Orochimaru snarled as he looked at Naruto, blood dripping from his mouth. But he could not move or really say anything because a wooden spike had ripped into his throat as he felt his life slipping away from him. "Most people would have been dead by now," said Naruto, "and for that, I commend you." As Naruto pulled out his blade, "I hope you rot in hell, you son of a bitch." And that was the last thing Orochimaru heard before his head was taken off his shoulders. As Naruto held his hair up, as Orochimaru's severed head, eyes went white. As Naruto stepped out of it, destroyed. As Menma flashed to another Stavan sign before placing his hand on the barrier, both boys then flashed away as the thing started to glow. As the clones also flashed away as well, an explosion that swallowed the entire ear of the forest went off, obliterating everything in sight. As Naruto sat down and sealed away Orochimaru's head in a scroll, as his back was turned to Menma, Menma placed a hand on his shoulder. "One down," he said. As Naruto turned, Menma stepped back in surprise as he looked at Naruto. Time skip. At Konoha, "Do you really think it was wise to send them alone?" said Jiraiya. Jiraiya, Snady, and Minato was in the office. As Snady looked towards her son, he seemed perfectly calm. He wasn't worried about Naruto and Menma taking on Orochimaru, because there was nothing to be worried about. No one has ever seen Minato fight his kids before. No one knew the full aspect of the strength that they possess. So no one knew who were the strongest. But people had some rumors going around that Naruto and Menma far surpassed Minato at this point. And there were still some rumors that Minato was still the strongest. No one really knew. But it was that fear that kept the other nations from fully doing anything. "They're gonna be alright," said Minato. "If it's one thing I do, is that I trust my boys," he said. "They have this." Jiraiya knew that he shouldn't be worried, but Orochimaru was just a slippery bastard. "Let me guess, you didn't tell Kushina about this?" said Snady as she watches Minato turn towards the window. Well, if it was one thing, despite his bravery and how powerful he was, he always acted jumpy whenever Kushina got mad. It was quite fun to see most times. "So," said Jiraiya as he sat down, "how has he been doing?" Minato sighed as he turned back to face them. "I doubt he has any emotion left." Snady sighed as she sat down. I hate seeing him go through this and there's nothing that we can do. Given that his eyes are so rare, it's hard to tell what exactly can we do to fix it. Great power, great costs, said Jiraiya. Naruto's strength is unmatched to most people. He's even stronger than you, Hein. Those eyes enhance his body muscles. You were the one to tell me that. Yeah, the genetics. They tamper with him on a subatomic level. Those eyes of his are not just like the Sharingan or Byakugan, they're different. Some part of it I don't really understand. It's complex and unique. Given that he's only been seen 3 times now in history, it should be, said Jiraiya. But we don't even know the full scope. We don't give him all nature bloodline, but this emotion thing, why does he take it away? That's what we need to find out. Before Minato could say anything, an Anbu flashed in the office. They're back, sir. As Minato nodded, the Anbu flashed away. See? I told you there was nothing to worry about, said Minato. A few seconds later, Naruto flashed inside the office. As Minato got worried there for a second, when he did not see Menma. Where's your brother? He asked. He went to the IT department, said Naruto. We got 2 prisoners he brought back. Prisoners? Said Jiraiya, looking quite shocked because everyone knew Naruto. He didn't bring back prisoners. He was the one that brought them back, said Naruto. Not me. He pulled out a scroll and tossed it toward his father, who caught it. As Minato looked at the scroll in his hand, he looked towards the 2 Sanins, who gave him a nod. As he placed it and unsealed the contents of inside. And they saw it. The head of Orochimaru. Dead. Huh. Jiraiya got to his feet. He's really dead. As he came over looking at the head. Serves him right. Should be dead for a long time now, said Snavy. As Jiraiya glanced towards Naruto, who stood there. He was just watching the scene with a curious gaze. To be more specific, he was watching him. What's up, kid? Said Jiraiya. It's nothing, said Naruto. As Menma flashed into the office a second later. Father, it's done, he said. I can see that. Good job, you two, said Minato. I never doubted you in the slightest. Who are these prisoners that I heard you brought back? 2 people that Orochimaru had with him. One of them is a Keiki Genkai user, Crystal Release. And the other one, I believe that she's a Uzumaki. What? Said Snaddy as she turned towards him. Yeah, Grandma. Snaddy eye twitched. Menma-kun, she said. Didn't I told you not to call me that? Well, you are kind of old, Jiraiya said. As he covered his mouth, he regretted the second that he said it. The next thing he knew, he was sailing across the village. As he broke right through the window. As Minato sighed as he sealed back away the head. As Menma started to chuckle. That made Minato chuckle. And Snaddy started to laugh as well. Until Naruto spoke. Can we discuss this later? There's something I have to do. Yeah, sure thing, said Minato. As Naruto flashed away. Minato sighed. Something happened, said Menma, as he left. Huh? The both of them looked at him confused. He smiled. What do you mean, said Snaddy. He smiles a lot of time. No, usually he forced it. But once we defeat Orochimaru, he smiled. Not an evil, cynical smile. A smile of happiness. Wait, you're telling me that he actually smiled for happiness, not because he just defeated one of Konoha's enemy and enjoyed doing it. Minato had to make sure that it was very clear. Yeah, it's like the old days. He was actually happy, but then the next moment it vanished, and he swore to me that nothing happened, but I saw it. I don't know what is going on, but I think he's coming back to us. So what does this mean? Said Snaddy. As she didn't know what happened, or if this even mean anything, but she was praying that it meant something. Meanwhile, as Naruto arrived to his apartment, as he went under his bed, as he went through hand sign as there was a box, as he unsealed the contents inside, there was a photo inside, a couple of them. A few of Kisame, a drawing of a masked individual, and a photo of Orochimaru. He placed a X on the face of Orochimaru as Naruto pulled out the letter that was there, written to him by younger Naruto. If you're reading this, it means you're still alive. We both want those bastards dead, but I haven't told anyone yet. But I'm slowly losing the urge to keep on going, because I can't really feel anything anymore. And I don't know if it has gotten worse. But if it has, and you lost all sense of emotion, remember, they need to die. They need to suffer for what they did. Make sure to incinerate them down to the last man. And make sure that they pay. And when you do find that masked man, do not let him go easy. Do what we thought that we would do to him. Make him suffer. Take everything away from him. Break him, and then you take his life. He took Mito away. He took your sister. Never, ever forgive him. And don't forget who you are. You are Naruto, Uzumaki Senju. No amount of power or nothing can change that. And take care of Minma, and Mom, and Dad, and Grandma, and even Purvis Sage. Because you'll be strong enough in the future to do so. I believe in you. As the note ended, something dropped on the paper. As Naruto was confused as he looked up to the ceiling, but there was nothing. He reached up and touched his eye, and there was water in his finger. What the hell? As he touched his face once again, it was gone. As he wondered what the hell dropped on him, he did not know. He got back up as they sealed away the contents, as he placed it back under his bed, as he got to his feet. He had promised his mother that he would talk to her after this was done, and he wouldn't leave her like what he did. He knew that she felt bad even though he wasn't feeling anything. He didn't want her to suffer. As he made his way, before he could open his door though, he felt someone behind it. This was a surprise as he opened it, to come face to face with Sesame, who was looking at him as she was about to knock. "Hey," she said. "Are you here to kill me?" Naruto asked. "Huh, not funny," she said. "Why do you think that?" "Well, given the fact that most time you saw me around." Your face twisted into anger. "Thought you might be finally here to kill me." She sighed. "I'm not here to kill you, you fool. Can we talk?" "About what?" he asked. "Can I just come in already?" He stepped aside as she came inside. As he closed the door behind him, she sat on his bed. "Did you complete your mission?" she asked him. He nodded. "Can you talk about it?" she asked. "We killed Orochimaru." She blinked. Really? "You're gonna find out soon enough. So yes. Me and Minma, we killed him," said Naruto. "Whoa. That's big. Huh. This is gonna further spread your name around, you know that, right? It's gonna make you have more enemies." "Let them all come," said Naruto. "Yeah. Because you'll be ready for all of them, don't you?" He simply nodded. "There's somewhere I have to be. Is this gonna take long? Don't you want to know why I'm here?" she asked him. "I thought you hated me." "I did. I mean, who wouldn't? The day after I told you I like you, and I have feelings for you and I want to explore them, you went and you slept with some other girls. And you didn't talk to me. You didn't explain why even though I come by your house you weren't there. And you kept blowing me off. You know, for a point I thought that I was a problem. That you found me so repulsive that you didn't even want to think about ever being in a relationship with me. And I kind of hated myself for a while. Then I realized, what am I talking about? I'm stunning. I am super hot," she said, with a smirk. Yet he did not laugh. "Look, your mom told me." Naruto narrowed his eyes. "Told you what?" "About your condition." His eyes became dangerously cold before they returned back to normal. "What's with that look?" she asked. "Nothing important." "What are you gonna do with this information? Are you gonna spill it?" he asked. "Of course not. I would never do that to you." "Even after how much I hurt you," he asked her. "But you didn't mean to hurt me. Your mom told me everything. You were trying to protect me even though..." She got up and poked him in the chest. "You can't feel anything in there, can you?" "Is it true?" I know your mom won't lie to me, but tell me. I want to hear from your own mouth. Is it true? He simply nodded. The moment he did, she punched him right in the face as he slammed right into the wall. But he barely looked fazed by it. He reached up and touched his cheek. What was that for, he asked. For not telling me. And for making me hate you for so long, not knowing why you did what you did. I hated, I despised you, I wanted to hurt you. I was so angry that you did that to me, but yet I couldn't find it in myself to actually cause you physical harm. But I wanted to make you suffer in other ways, emotionally. I always want to see the betterment of my clan. Sasuke is doing something, the bullies forced my brother, Itachi is gonna be the new clan head. And I wanted to combine the Uchihas even more, by the political marriage between me and one of the top council members' son, which is Damien. Yeah, I heard about that, said Naruto. And even when that happened, I was still thinking that you might just pop up and apologize. But you never did. And now I know why. Because you didn't feel the reason to. Because you couldn't feel anymore. This isn't just you just blowing me off. It's an actual problem, isn't it? Yeah. He caught her fist this time. She swung the other one as he caught it. As he pulled her rather close. What do you want, he asked. You, she said. I want things to go back to the way they were. I want you to accept my feelings. Because things were different back then. When we went out a couple of times. On those missions. I saw it in your eyes. The spark was there, but after the 4th month, when it became apparently clear that you lost all of your emotions, it was just gone. I confessed at the wrong time and you blew me off because you knew if you had forced yourself to say yes, our relationship would have been nothing but chaotic. Because you couldn't find time to show me any emotions like you do. Because you didn't have it. And losing touch of that is hurting you, but yet you can't even express yourself. And I would be the bastard, trying to force you into something that you couldn't even express. When you couldn't even say the simple words to someone. Like, tell them if you love them, she said. So that's why you did that to me. Because you wanted to protect me. That's the reason, isn't it? Yes. I won't lie to you. Back then, I did feel something. But it was hard because it was slowly slipping away. And I didn't want to do anything knowing that I will cause you pain in the long run. So I made sure that you would never forgive me in what I did. And I don't expect you to. In actuality, I wanted to leave. Because I don't know if I'll ever return back to normal. And nothing can happen between us. She moved a bit closer. Tell me, do you want me to marry Damien? She asked. Why would you ask me that? Although you're not feeling anything, what do you want? Do you want me to marry him and forget about you? Before you answer, think. Just think about it. What do the old you say? I want to know, she said. He was about to say something, but she placed her hand on his lip. Not now. Just think about it for a while, she said. There's still time. And what if I say yes? He said to her. Your mom and my mom told me something. It was almost like they planned for this. Duty is fine. But love, it only comes once in a while. She didn't turn her back. Think about it, she said. As she made her way off, leaving him there. As Naruto felt something pulling on his subconscious, as she closed the door behind her, he closed his eyes. As he entered his mindscape, as he came towards the cage that was dark, as usual. What is it? Said Naruto. Something is wrong. The dark voice of Kurama came out. What's wrong? Said Naruto. Something is wrong with the seal. As the fox stepped forward. As Naruto noticed his size. Hey, did you got bigger? The fox simply smirked at that, but he did not explain. Why did you call me for not gonna answer my questions? I told you something is wrong with the seal. something that might affect both me and you. Usually my chakra slowly seeps in your system, giving you more grasp on how to control my power. And because of your cursed Mokiton, and somehow those cursed eyes of yours, I found myself unable to do anything against you. But now, your chakra is seeping inside of myself and actually affecting me. You need to fix the damn seal. It's becoming bothersome. What do you mean by that? When did this even happen? A while ago. Which means a couple of years ago. But I thought it might be a way for me to get my freedom, so I just stay silent about it. But now, I've been starting to feel these strange things. Something is happening, and I don't like it. That is why you must fix it. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, said Naruto. The fox snarled. Check on your damn seal, he said to him. Fine, I'll check on the seal, but first, how are you getting so bigger? As the fox smirked once again. Your stupid idiotic brother has a portion of me inside of him. But over the years I was able to replenish my yin chakra. And as you can see, I'm now back to 100%. But yet, your cursed Mokiton is holding me at bay. Look, I don't know what to tell you about your problem, said Naruto. But I'll take a look at the seal. If there's anything happening, I'll inform you, he said. The fox looked at him, still having troubles controlling your emotion. He looked rather amused while saying that. Does it cause you joy, said Naruto. Well, considering that you have me in prison here, of course it does, said Kurama. But I can be a silent prisoner and just wait. My time will come. You know, things don't have to be like this, said Naruto. And how would they be? You know I can't release you if I do. The world will just hunt you down. And I will slaughter anyone that come across me, said Kurama. But they won't stop. You're the most powerful being in history, in existence. They won't stop until they have you. And if any other nation get you in their grasp, they won't be as me. They will make sure that you're locked up tight and forcefully use any amount of chakra that they want from you. Can you really say I've been the worst host that you have so far? The fox snorted at that. Well, he wasn't the worst. Inside of his mother and inside of Mito, he was chained down so tight. And besides, they didn't even come to visit him, not at all. But this boy sometimes just talked to him for no reason at all, despite his loss of emotions. You may go now. Your presence is annoying me. Whenever you have nothing to say, you always lash out at people. You know, that's not a good behavior, said Naruto. You, lecturing me on behavior. The fox snorted as he turned his back towards Naruto, as Naruto simply left, as the fox glanced back. Meanwhile, a few minutes earlier, as Damon couldn't believe what he was seeing. For the past year and a half, since they stopped talking to each other, she never ever visited this place. Damon had to know. That is why he boldly marched straight up towards Naruto's apartment complex. As he knocked harshly on the door, he was tempted to kick it off, but he wouldn't be the one starting things. After a few seconds, Naruto opened the door and looked outside. As he looked directly at Damon, "Can I help you?" "What? What's Sesame doing here?" As Naruto looked towards the door and rubbed his hand over the soft part where Damon had hit. "You almost left a dent in my door," said Naruto. "What was she doing here?" "And how is that your business?" "Well, considering that she's my fiancée, I say it is my business." "She came here to talk," said Naruto. "Talk?" As Damon looked around, he tried to look by Naruto, but Naruto was standing in the full hallway of the door, so he could not see much. "I saw her today. She went by your mother's house. Your mother came by the Uchiha compound. Tell me what's going on." "Are you spying on her?" said Naruto. "Do you not trust her that much?" "I don't trust you. Can't you see that you already lost? You lost her fair and square. And now she's mine. And soon enough she will understand that she loved me as well. Is that it? Said Naruto. Why you always been so petty to me? Always been like a little bitch. Damien eyes narrowed in rage. What? Is it because you thought that I would take her away? Well, you're the one getting married to her, so I guess I lost. Damn right you did. Now stay away from her. Or else. Naruto stepped forward. Or else what? Damien, move a bit closer. I'll make you. You really think that this would be like last time? You have no idea the political power I'm gaining. I will be married to the daughter of the clan head. My father is already popular in the council. Do you think this will slide that easily, despite that you're the son of the Hokage? I am from the Uchiha clan, one of the most populous clans in Konoha. So don't think that this will be at last time when you got lucky in the force of death. This time, I'll actually fight back, and I'll be ready for you. And the political fallout would be detrimental to your father, as him being Hokage, unable to control his wild son that goes around doing as he please. I wonder what the other clans would say. After all, you are from a clan, and the Hokage shouldn't be giving special treatment to anyone. So how about it, big guy? Go ahead. Throw the first punch, said Damien, as Naruto was silent. As he looked towards his left, he then looked towards his right. It's a shame, he said. About what? Damien asked. That I don't see any kunai in sight. And I already unpacked my gear. I would have sliced your throat clean open and see what the political fallout would have been. Damien blinked in shock. You think your jokes or your threats can work on me? Joke? Oh, trust me, Damien. Do you think just because you're gonna marry Sesame, that you have this power that was bestowed upon you? You were nothing back then and you're still nothing now. And if you really want to settle this, I'll be glad to fight you. I saw that you were itching for one recently. Why don't you set it up? After all, you are a big shot in your clan right now. I heard that you have rise to the ranks and become one of the elite Uchihas. So why don't you go ahead and set it up? A comrade battle. A Uchiha versus a Uzumaki and Senju. You're gonna regret that, said Damien. This isn't like the last time. Just because of your exploits and people saying that you're stronger than before. I've also grown strong. And do you really think that you can win? Of course, said Damien. This time, I'll not only crush you, but I'll humiliate you in front of everyone. I want everyone to be there. So, are you gonna chicken out, that's Damien? I'll be ready whenever you are, said Naruto. Fine then. But we both know what this fight is actually about. Oh, and what is that? This fight is about Sesame. Once I beat you into the ground into a bloody pulp, she'll realize that you're not worth her time. And she'll be finally mine. And the things I'll do to her, said Damien, as he licked his lips. Things that you will never get a chance to do. Because when I marry her, she's all mine. She's gonna be having my babies. And what will you do? Be here, like the coward you are. Thinking that you're popular, thinking that you're the best. But in actuality, you're the one that is nothing, Damien said. I'll show you that the Uchiha are better than all, and the Sharingan trumps that dumbass Aiza's fears. I'm sure that your father will agree to my terms. And the Uchiha clan hate to test us. After all, we're both boys of our time that is showing incredible growth. So, I'm gonna set it up. Damien. What? This won't be like the force of death. This will be an actual fight. Trust me, this is not a warning like me telling you to stop. Like we're not gonna do this. Because we are. And if you don't want to do it publicly, we can do it in private. But I'm gonna hurt you, Damien. I'm gonna break every single bone in your body. I'm gonna leave you on the ground like a puddling mess. I'm gonna shame you in front of your entire clan. So, whenever you're ready, set it up. We'll just see about that, said Damien. And who knows? Perhaps my hand might slip, and a kunai might find itself lodged somewhere problematic, that will end your shinobi career forever, and show you how pathetic you really are. Is that a threat? Said Naruto. Oh, I'm not making a threat against you. Merely an observation, said Damien. And when I'm done with you, you'll finally realize that you're not worthy for her love. And you should stay away from her. Not even 100 foot. You know what? Better yet, never come back to the Uchiha compound. No one wants to see your face there anyway. Especially me. As Damien marched off. Well, seems like he's been wanting to do this for a long time now, said Kurama in Naruto's head. So you're awake? Well, how could I be asleep in that fun little confrontation you just had? So, you're not gonna be a chicken and chicken out, are you? Wait, why am I even asking? You never run from a battle before. But it's the first time in years I'm seeing you so eager for a battle. What do you mean? Look at yourself. You're shaking. Not because you're afraid though. It's because you wanted to attack him right away. You wanted to wipe that smug smirk off his face. And every time he spoke about that girl, you tensed slightly. Seems like you're also changing. I don't know what you're talking about, said Naruto. It seems like you don't see it, but I do. After all, I got an inside view, said Kurama. With that he went silent. Meanwhile, at the Uchiha compound, as Sesame just arrived. Ah, Sesame. Father, would you mind walking with me for a while? She nodded. She followed her father as he brought her to the back of the house. They were the only one there as he sat down. He just offered to sit as well as she did. How have you been lately? Okay, how about you? She asked. I've been fine, he said. Things are working out good for the Uchihas. May I ask you something a bit personal? He asked. What's that? Your friendship with Naruto. What happened there? She was surprised. Her father never spoke about it even once, even though he knew. Well, let's just say we're not good friends right now. Certain things that happened in the past. As the man looked up in the sky, as he smiled, Sesame was a little princess, and he would always make sure that she was happy. He loved his boys too, despite not showing it a lot. But he loved his daughter. Perhaps he was a bit, well, playing the favorites, because everyone could see that he treated her like a little princess, despite her being a full-grown woman. You know I care about your happiness, right? Of course, she said. What's this all about, father? I just want to make sure that you're happy. Usually, I'm not that all emotionally invested, and I usually stay out of affairs and things that are going on. But if what is happening is not at your liking or desire, I just want to make sure that you're happy. He did not outright say what he wanted. He always explained things in some cryptic ways for you to figure out what he meant. And that kind of got to her some time. But she wondered if he was talking about the current situation. Did Mom talk to you? She asked. He shook his head no. As he placed a hand on her shoulder. I just want you to be happy. The Uchiha clan has been striving before you were born, and it will still continue to strive, he said. Yet again, he did not say exactly what he wanted, but she could clearly figure out what he was saying. Even without this marriage, the clan will still strive. Thank you, father, she said. It seems like everyone saw it. Or perhaps it was that most people didn't like Damien. They then heard footsteps. Apologies for interrupting. As he turned to see Damien standing with a smile. Fugaku-sama, there's something important I'd like to speak to you about. As the man turned his full attention towards Damien. Damien was a strong fighter, and he had all that it had to be a Uchiha. But his arrogance was a bit too much. Even a bit too much for Fugaku. And given that the man was said to marry his daughter, a part of Fugaku didn't really like him that much. But he was a Uchiha, and with their union, it will do great things for the clan. Meanwhile, as Konan stepped forward towards Nagato, it is as you say, he wants us to kill them, and he's willing to pay any price to do so. As Nagato went over his thoughts, Oniki is willing to give out any resources to make sure that his enemies were put down. But Nagato had a different plan in mind. After all, he couldn't afford to kill the 9-tailed Jinchuriki. So he had another plan that he will commence into action. All of the tailed beasts were currently locked away because of the looming war that was coming. As everyone could feel it despite there being not so much activity, the tension was thick. Nations were getting ready. Kumo had been on lockdown ever since. Their ninjas were training, they're getting ready. Everyone was getting ready. Konoha was also plotting as well, just in case that the war might break out. As Nagato felt it, he would just be the driving force to push this war. And in this war, he will spread his organization wide and collect the tailed beasts from the field one by one. And then he will end this war with the power of his might. And through this violence he will bring peace, everlasting peace, because he would use his weapon to eradicate hundreds of thousands in front of their eyes, to let everyone experience the pain of war. And then they will understand. Yes, then, and only then. Conan, there's something else I want you to do, said Nagato. But guys, be subscribed right here. If you want the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto Was a Hope of the Uchiha Clan. And also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 2 of What If Naruto Was Put Through Hell and Adopted by the Raikage. I enjoyed that, guys. But I'm over now. See you guys soon. Peace out.